should have mannerism. That is what's the most important thing. किस तरह आपसे बात करनी और किस तरह पेशेंट से बात करनी.
Thank you. Thank you. If I got the points right, if you have feedback ahead, that's probably just a very primitive form of whatever you were describing in the UK. Feedback ahead, and there is that's already made. It's on the e-portal of the candidate. It's not been activated, so they can give the feedback. ये दूसरी बात जो आपने बताई बिल्कुल ठीक बात है. That should be, the examiners should. If he feels, she feels that this candidate doing very well and he's passed, so if he's going to go on for some additional marks for that patient, he should in a way hint to that patient, you've done very well, so can we just answer me these questions? And most of the candidates are able to understand what this means. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Please go through this for the trainees who are looking for, opportunities to specialize in different area to look at this, just look at this slide. So there's a lot of competition. There's not a lot of competition to be a good person.
Thank you so very much, Professor Nasir, for such a comprehensive talk. And it surely reassures all of our trainees कि क्या कुछ किया जा रहा है examiner part पे भी. Last but not the least, the much anticipated, we'll have Dr. Abdullah Ishfaq on the stage, who will be giving you a resident's perspective on the deficiencies of structured training here in Pakistan. Thank you.
Dr. Abdullah on the floor again. We already showed in our session, we've taken so much time. Thank you, Professor Nasir and Professor Liaquat, for covering half the part of my talk over here about the structured training program. So just going briefly through some aspects that the trainees have been facing. So no, I would say it like that. Sorry. No hard feelings and no disclosure, conflict of interest, no conflict of interest over here. So the problems start with training induction. What we have to face is there is a centralized program, and then there is the private sector where the trainee has to go and roam around the cities, hospitals, applying for the jobs, getting the interviews, getting through the stressful journey where to end up. So something should be done about that. Professor Nasir, we have you here, so I would expect that we'll be having a discussion over here.
Mic is on the table.
So can you say that again? I just dozed off for a while. What was your question?
The question is regarding the induction policy. As we can see that there are two distinctive groups in our country right now. One is the government sector, one is the private sector. Although the private sector is on the rise right now with so many emerging medical colleges and the number of candidates, the number of doctors emerging from there. So we have limited seats in the government sector. The centralized induction policy, we all know that, is in favor of the government graduates, not the private graduates, unfortunately. So the private graduates, they have to seek the private seats available in the hospitals. That's a different hassle. References, sometimes the candidates might get selected because of their competence. Otherwise, it's mostly references, we all know that. So something should be done about that.
If I could just answer it in another single statement. This has been left to the provinces, right? Punjab has got a central system. In KP also they've got a system whereby the Postgraduate Medical Institute, it's just left to them. College has got no direct association or any interference in this system. Feel that there is a discrepancy between, I didn't know that, I thought they just have an assessment and there's a merit list made, be it a graduate from the government hospitals or from private hospitals, colleges from the government or the private colleges, and they just come on the merit list and they're inducted according to merit. I didn't know there was any discrepancy. So how would you?
Well, unfortunately, there is, like,
So
we talk to the candidates these days.
So you for the at the time of induction.
Sir, sorry to interrupt, but we have 5 more minutes before this.
Okay, right. Okay, I've taken note of that point. I'll see, but as I said, the college is not going to interfere in these things. This is something which is left there, but obviously this is something which can be brought up. Maybe there's a way forward.
All right, this is something that needs more probing. So we'll move on. Then comes the clinical and educational supervision. We've already highlighted the program and how it should be monitored and implemented. We've been hearing about it since a long time. Actually, now we're like expecting to see the implementation soon enough. I hope that is done. And about the clinical educational supervision, what we have in our hospitals is that we have a supervisor, a single supervisor. He's supervising the trainees, and they're directly reporting to him, and then they just appear in the examination. I have been through a training program in UK as well. So what happens there is you have a clinical supervisor, you sit down with him, that's an appraisal for the whole year. You set up your goals, he sits with you, tells you what you need to do and what you think what you need to do. You write it down, that goes into your e-portfolio, right? So the whole program for the year is set. And then you start working on it. And during this, you have another appraisal with an educational supervisor. He's a different guy, a different person who monitors your academic progression throughout the clinical course. So there are like two different sorts of monitoring going on. And if you have any problem with your clinical supervisor and you need to discuss it with someone, obviously you can't do it with the clinical supervisor. If you mess your relationship with your supervisor, you're just screwed. So you talk to your educational supervisor. He might come up with something. He might be able to do something for you. So that's how a relationship between a trainee and a supervisor works over there. Something like that, if implemented over here, might help the trainees a lot.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, sorry.
Can we
have some facts right. In an ideal situation, a clinical and education supervisor can be different, but I'm a clinical and education supervisor of a candidate as well, not all the time. So I think it's demand and supply works everywhere. UK, America, Canada, they are not ideal system either. There's a room of improvement. I think that's a great platform that you guys are interacting with. So it's not always necessary or mandatory. One candidate would have two separate supervisors. It can be same person.
Thank you for that, Dr.
Yeah, sorry, I could just add to that. The supervisor, I've just pointed out the problems with the supervisor, and also given you hope that when this good standing is implemented, the supervisor will be more careful about the training. Number one, but if there is a major problem, most of the places have got CPSP region centers, and there is a counselor there. So you can always go and speak to them, and people go and do talk to them, and somehow the other the trickle down effect reaches us, the faculties, or the concerned people. So if there's ever a feeling of an examiner or a supervisor, and they can go and talk to the counselor. So there are regional counselors everywhere, and this is how I actually found this. I found out that there were so many things that I used to wonder that how does the college come to know about these things, and I found out this is through their counselors. The people go and meet these counselors. They will comment about the supervisors, about the examiners.
Well, we do have these things in check. Personally, I love my supervisors and my peers. To be honest, I have the best of them. But I'm here speaking on behalf of the other trainees throughout the training program in Pakistan. Gee. But it's like a general aspect that I'm covering on behalf of all the trainees, not my personal one. And I missed a point in the induction regarding the pay scale of the trainees. I would ask a question like, would you be able to feed yourself and your family at like a worth of 10,000 rupees a month, or 20 at most?
That again,
150.
that again is totally left to the regions. KP had about 80, 90,000 rupees stipend for a trainee, and that was like 3 years ago. I don't know what it is at the moment, but that was something even the medical officers were not getting. One of my trainee, I remember, he went to AFIU. I hope the other guys are there. So he was-
Unfortunately, none of them is here. I wanted to talk with them as well.
So unki stipend I think that was considerably less. So this varies. Sorry. They're not offered stipend. They are offered stipend, but it's less. So
Regarding this, I can tell you with my own experience. I've been with the military a lot. So what they do is you don't get any pay from them. If you do, it's like worth 20,000 tops, right? So I worked for 2 years for 18,000 rupees. The guard was having more pay than me. Okay? So the thing is, I went to CPSP. I talked to the leads over there. I talked to them about safeguarding of the trainees, and I highlighted the issue regarding the pay scale. And they said that we have issued a letter throughout to all the institutions regarding the pay scale of the trainees. It should be equal to the basic pay scale of the government trainees. And I told them my particular scenario and all of the trainees in Pakistan. The final answer I could get from them was our hands are up. We can't do anything about it.
I can tell you about the institute where I'm working now. There's a stipend. The ones who have graduated from private schools, they get a stipend, a part of stipend from the government, and part is paid by the institute itself where they're working.
But it's not happening,
It is
unfortunately.
totally variable.
Where they do send money into business account, but on next day they're asked to give it back. Even this happened.
So I would like our lead in
Standardization
CPS to
is
something about it.
This is like the college would